It's Democrats versus the United States of America. We help you decide whose side you're on in tonight's preamble. In my beloved Texas, we awaken to what America will look like if Democrat policies are allowed to harm us. In a case that the chairwoman of the Congressional Black Communists, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, would call an example of white supremacy. An escaped convict, Gozala Lopez, was shot and killed by the very law enforcement Democrats wish to defund, but not before he murdered a family of 5 in Houston. Now, if Democrats succeeded in their latest legislative push, Americans across the fruited plain will suffer that same fate. Without firearms to defend us from the Democrats' criminals, those criminals will know they can kill with impunity. Don't forget the Democrat agenda that's being implemented through Soros-funded DAs out there. It's to release violent criminals back on the streets. Now, if Americans are disarmed by Democrats, we will be unable to protect our families against the barbaric acts from the Democrat criminals. Even if those criminals are caught, they'll rest easy knowing they could get judges and juries like Michael Sussman got. Democrats eager to excuse criminal activity. Speaking of the Congressional Black Communists, here's one of them, pledging to tear down our institutions and our very Constitution if his leftists are not allowed to steal your rights.
Enough of your thoughts and prayers. Enough. Enough. You will not stop us from advancing the Protecting Our Kids Act today. You will not stop us from passing it in the House next week, and you will not stop us there. If the filibuster obstructs us, we will abolish it. If the Supreme Court objects, we will expand it, and we will not rest until we have taken weapons of war out of circulation in our communities.
That's Mondaire Jones, folks, Democrat, socialist, New York. The godless heathen there seems rather determined to steal your rights, doesn't he? As you all know, Mitch McConnell and John Cornyn are stroking their chins thoughtfully at this very moment, looking for ways to accommodate that anti-American government arsonist. If he and his party can't rule, they'll burn down our institutions. I'd like to invite Mondaire down to Texas to make his declaration here. I can guarantee he'll get quite a different reception than he gets in the state of New York, a state dominated in government by socialists. And while I'm talking about Texas, I received a note from Texas Senator Bob Hall this morning. Unlike Senator John Cornyn, State Senator Hall is dedicated to preserving our rights under the Constitution. The note read this: the Texas 87th legislature passed a bill for which I was the Senate author, which made Texas a sanctuary state for the Second Amendment. Texas will not, cannot enforce any new federal gun law that is more restrictive than a Texas law, end quote. In other words, no matter what the goose-stepping tyrant from New York or his political party says, Texas will not comply. There's precedence for this, my friends. In defiance of federal law, the state of California said it will not enforce U.S. immigration law, declaring itself a sanctuary state for illegal aliens. Texas has merely done the same thing with respect to firearms. The only difference between California and Texas is that there is no constitutional right to illegal immigration. There is a constitutional right to keep and bear arms, a right that shall not be infringed by Joe Biden, Mondaire Jones, or any communist inside or outside of our borders. And by the way, the state of Texas, we're not alone. So to Mr. Mondaire Jones, the answer is no. We, the people, will not allow you to steal our rights today. No, even though Mitch McConnell and John Cornyn may let you, we, the people, will not allow you to rip apart the Senate today. No, we, the people, will not allow you to stack the court today. The United States was founded by men of conscience. The men recognized that our rights were given to us by God. Legitimate governments protect those rights. Illegitimate governments steal or abridge those rights. This explains Joe Biden and Mondaire Jones. So I think the majority of our people will keep our thoughts and prayers and our devotion to preserving what God has given to us. And I think we'll say to Mondaire Jones and his dementia-ridden occupier of the Oval Office, enough of your godlessness. Enough of your cronyism. Enough of your communism. Enough of your Democrat Party. Now, let's get to our first guest. Some people have been very good at predicting what Democrats would do to America if they gained absolute power. They're not supernatural, folks. All they had to do was study the history of tyrants. Now, let me just stop there. The history of tyrants through our world, I mean, you could go back for decades. You can go back for centuries to see what tyrants have done to our world, the amount of murders, the amount of, well, decimation they have brought to entire civilizations. As a matter of fact, tyrants only benefit themselves. Does that not sound an awful lot like the Democrat Party? Only working to benefit themselves, ripping up, shredding the Constitution. It is absolutely abhorrent, my friends, what we're being asked to endure at the hands of the Democrat Party. And I've got to say this. Where are the Republicans? Where are the Republicans insisting, no, you Democrats will follow our Constitution?